Hello, BookTube. This is my first ridiculous book haul of March 2026. This book haul is composed of 14 books from 3 orders. I mentioned yesterday that I was expecting a package from Powell's, the great bookstore in Portland, Oregon, to come in, and it did come in today. After having ping ponged around Fort Worth for a few days. So at the end of February, Powell's had a 20% off sale, and I jumped on it. I also recently put in an order with Majors and Quinn through Alibris. And I also got another book haul in today, or book package in today, from Goodwill Books in Austin. I was looking for a book that will be coming in shortly and ended up buying 2 other books as well from 3 different sellers. Anyway, so I'm going to start with the anthology. 6 Great Modern Plays. I do not know who the editor of this anthology is, but this includes The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams, All My Sons by Arthur Miller, 3 Sisters by Anton Chekhov, The Master Builder by Heinrich Ibsen, Mrs. Warren's Profession by George Bernard Shaw, and Red Roses for Me by Sean O'Casey. So I'll be shaving this in a anthology shelf that I have. Next is Juvenilia by Hera Lindsay Bird. This is a poetry collection from a New Zealand poet published by Deep Vellum, which is a small publisher located in Texas. I will be reading the 2 blurbs on the back. All literary phenomenon, goofy, funny, and tender, her energy and sensitivity will captivate. From L. Frank and outrageous, it has made me, like many others, more excited about poetry than I have been in a long time. From The Guardian. Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung, translated from the Korean by Anton Her. From an author never before published in the United States, Cursed Bunny is unique and imaginative, blending horror, sci-fi, fairy tales, and speculative fiction into stories that defy categorization. By turns thought-provoking and stomach-turning, here monsters take the shapes of furry woodland creatures, and danger lurks in unexpected corners of everyday apartment buildings. But in this unforgettable collection, translated by the acclaimed Anton Her, Chung's absurd, haunting universe could be our own. The head follows a woman haunted by her own bodily waste. The embodiment takes us into a dystopian gynecology office where a pregnant woman is told that she must find a father for her baby or face horrific consequences. Another story follows a young monster forced into underground fight rings without knowing his own power. The titular fable centers on a cursed lamp in the shape of a rabbit, fit for a child's bedroom, but for its sinister capabilities. No 2 stories are alike, and readers will be torn whether to race through them or savor Chung's wit and frenetic energy on every page. Cursed Bunny is a book that screams to be read late into the night and passed on to the nearest set of hands the very next day. So this was a finalist for the National Book Award a few years ago and was also at least longlisted, if not also shortlisted, for the International Booker Prize. Next is My Name is Leon by Kit de Waal. Leon is 9 years old. He loves chocolate bars, Saturday morning cartoons, and his beautiful golden-haired baby half-brother. From the moment Jake is born, Leon is determined to protect him, but when their mother is unable to be a parent and their fathers are nowhere to be found, Leon and Jake fall under the care of the state. Jake, due to his age and skin color, is adopted, while darker-skinned Leon is placed with a doting but ailing foster mother, Maureen. Though he enjoys his new life, Leon remains desperate to put his family together, and as he embarks on a quest to reunite with Jake, he meets an unforgettable cast of characters that includes Maureen's cranky and hilarious sister Sylvia, a social worker known only as the Zebra, and a community of local gardeners and West Indian political activists. With their help, Leon learns about the power of love, the unbreakable bond between brothers, and the truth about what makes a family. Tender, vivid, and uplifting, My Name is Leon is a tale that will capture your imagination and still your heart. I have some unfinished business with this novel, if memory serves me correctly. Next is The Remembered Soldier by Anjet Daanje, translated from the Dutch by David McKay. Flanders, 1922. After serving as a soldier in the Great War, Noon Merkham has lost his memory and lives in a psychiatric asylum. Countless women, responding to a newspaper ad, visit him there in the hope of finding their spouse, who vanished in battle. One day a woman, Julianne, appears and recognizes Noon as her husband, the photographer Armand Coppens, and takes him home against medical advice. But the miraculous reunion doesn't turn out the way that Julianne wants her envious friends to believe. Only gradually do the two grow close, and Armand's biography is pieced together on the basis of Julianne's memories about him. But how can he be certain that she's telling the truth? In The Remembered Soldier, Anjet Daanje immerses us in the psyche of a war-traumatized man who has lost his identity. When Armand comes to doubt Julianne's world, the reader is caught up in a riveting spiral of confusion that only the greatest of literature can achieve. So this was a finalist for last year's National Book Award and is currently longlisted for the International Booker Prize. Next is Wonderland by Stacey D. Erasmo. Anna Brundage is a rock star. She was an overnight indie sensation, but lost her fame just as fast as she found it. Now 44, she pours everything into a comeback, selling her famous father's art to finance an album and a European tour. A riveting look at the life of a musician and the moving story of a woman's unconventional path. Wonderland is a glimpse of how it feels when a wish might come true. So I have read this before, and this is a reacquisition, because I really want to give this another read. Next is Novels and Stories by Sarah Orne Jewett in this Library of America paperback. I did not know Library of America made paperbacks. Sarah Orne Jewett devoted her career to capturing in nuanced and finely detailed fiction the inner drama and the outwardly quiet life of New England coast towns. Set against the background of long Maine winters, hardscrabble farms, and the sea, her stories of gruff, capable farmers and sea folk, and of the rewards and trials of family and communal ties, have a very modern resonance. Here is the first collection to include all her best fiction, all 3 novels, and 28 funny, satirical, and poignant stories, featuring her masterpiece, The Country of the Pointed Fairs. The writings collected in this authoritative edition reveal the full stature of the unjustly neglected writer that Willa Cather ranked with Mark Twain and Nathaniel Hawthorne. An incandescence of humanity. Descriptions so sharply etched you want to put them in your pocket like magic pebbles. That is from the Chicago Tribune. An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. A captivating love story that is also a clear-eyed look at the effects of injustice in contemporary American life. Tayari Jones's novel gorgeously chronicles 3 people who are bound together and separated by forces beyond their control. As newlyweds, Celestial and Roy are living the American dream. He is a young executive, and she is an artist on the brink of an exciting career. But after Roy's incarceration for a crime he did not commit, Celestial, bereft and unmoored, turns to childhood friend and Roy's best man, Andre, for support. As Roy's absence drags on, Celestial faces soul-wrenching decisions about balancing loyalty with independence, desire with social and familiar expectations, and what is right with what is fair. And to whom? Gripping, timely, and masterful, An American Marriage looks deep into the souls of people who must reckon with the past while moving forward with hope and pain into the future. The Nightgown and Other Poems by Taisia Kitaiskaia. I don't know for sure if this is translated or not. Okay, I think this was written in English. Ripe with mythic awareness and dark fairytale turned feminist humor, renowned writer Taisia Kitaiskaia's debut poetry collection catalogs magical beings, language, and the mysteries of our world with wide, witchy eyes. From the author of Literary Witches, a celebration of magical women, writers, and Ask Baba Yaga, The Nightgown is a mystic, hungry collection of poems, a roiling landscape wandered over by wild swerves of language and creatures of all sorts, including the folklore, the herd opera, the eunuch, and the titular angry nightgown. Haunted by the transformations of Slavic and Western European fairy tales, the symbolism of the tarot, the medieval world, feminism, and a mythology all its own, The Nightgown bears an immigrant's fascination with the alien syrup of the English language, preserving an ancient consciousness of human, beast, and earth. Funny and loud, the poems are strangely accessible in their animal awareness of mortality and urgency for contact with the unknown. Another poetry collection I picked up is The Simple Truth by Philip Levine. Okay. Philip Levine's last book of poems, What Work Is, received the National Book Award for Poetry in 1991. And I have that collection, and I really love it. His new book, The Simple Truth, is written in a voice that moves between elegy and prayer. It contains 33 poems whose aim is to weave a complex tapestry of myth, history, both public and private, family memory, and invention, in a search for truth so basic and universal they escape us all. So really looking forward to reading this. This is the one I picked up from Goodwill Books in Austin. The next two books are by Naguib Mahfouz and are the second and third part of the Cairo trilogy. And there is no blurbs, so I will read two of the acclaimed sentences. Palace of Desire is, like its predecessor, a grand novel of ideas, a marvelous read from the Washington Post. His towering strength as a writer is his luminous specificity. All the magic, mystery, and suffering of Egypt in the 1920s are conveyed on a human scale. The New York Times Book Review. So, Palace of Desire is translated from the Arabic by William Maynard Hutchins, Lorne M. Kinney, and Olive E. Kinney. The third and final volume of the Cairo trilogy is Sugar Street. So I will read two blurbs for this novel as well. Throughout Naguib Mahfouz's fiction, there is a pervasive sense of metaphor, of a literary artist who is using his fiction to speak directly and unequivocally to the condition of his country. His work is imbued with love for Egypt and its people, but it is also utterly honest and unsentimental. Washington Post Book World. Mr. Mahfouz's characters blaze with intensity. His Egypt pulsates with unresolved tensions. The Atlanta Constitution. And this novel is translated from the Arabic by William Maynard Hutchins and Angele, Botros, Samaan. So the final two books are the two I picked up from Majors and Quinn. And while both books have the same name as the author, there are two different authors. First up is the collected novels of Charles Wright. This is an anthology that includes The Messenger, The Wig, and absolutely nothing to get alarmed about. Charles Wright's remarkable satirical New York City trilogy is as fresh and poignant now as when it was originally published from 1963 to 1973. By turns brutally funny and starkly real, these three classic American novels create a memorable portrait of a young working-class intellectual from the South and his misadventures with hair straightening, partying with the bohemian elite of Greenwich Village, male prostitution, and drug abuse. Wright's fiction is searingly original in bringing to life a special time as a loner and an outsider explores city life. And the other Charles Wright book I picked up is by the poet Charles Wright. This is By and By, Selected Late Poems. Over the course of 20 collections of poems, Charles Wright has built one of the truly distinctive bodies of poetry created in the second half of the 20th century. This is from David Young, Contemporary Poets. By and By, which brings together selections from Wright's more recent work, including the entirety of Littlefoot, Wright's moving book-length meditation on mortality showcases the themes and images that have defined his mature work. The true affinity between writer and subject, human and nature, the tenuous relationship between description and actuality, and the search for a truth that transcends change and death. By and By is a wonderful introduction to the late work of one of America's finest and best loved poets. So how I'm going to organize the two Charles Wrights is I'm going to do it by the date of their birth. So Charles Wright, the novelist, was born in 1932, and Charles Wright, the poet, was born, I think, a few years later. I think about 2 or 3 years later. Let's check to make sure I'm right about this. It's like 32 or 36. Okay, so Charles Wright, the poet, was born in 1935. So let's go and check the other Charles Wright. Yeah, he was born in 1932. Okay. So Charles Wright, the novelist, will come first when I put them when I alphabetize them. So that was the first book haul of March 2026, and I'm expecting at least 1 or 2 equally ridiculous book hauls to come in the next few weeks while I approach. I'm sorry. So this is the first book haul of March, and I expect a few more equally ridiculous book hauls to come in March. So until I see you next time, thank you, BookTube. Have a great rest of your afternoon and stay safe.